In terms of pure genius, impact, vision, and overall influence on the substance and direction of reggae, only a tiny handful of people are in the same stratosphere as Horace Michael Swaby, aka Augustus Pablo. This mysterious maestro was one of the genre's biggest influences, and alongside his close collaborator King Tubby, was one of the pillars of the subgenre of reggae that we know today as dub. A man of many parts, he was a sound system owner, multi-instrumentalist, a phenomenal artist, and an extremely gifted producer, whose trademark was the melodica, an instrument that he single-handedly took from a mere child's toy to a powerful musical tool that infused a serene ethereal angle previously unheard of in modern music that became known as the Far East Melody. It was indeed as a producer that he made the most impact on the genre, as he literally crafted thousands of brilliant songs in his 3-decade career. But in this video, we're counting down our picks for the 7 greatest albums produced by the one and only Augustus Pablo. Now let's go. Number 7, One Step More by Gino Delgado. In 1988, Pablo and Dennis Brown disciple Gino Delgado came together to craft the songs for this project. It was one of several times that this pair had collaborated since the 1970s, and the result was this 10-track piece that not only showcased Pablo's consistency but his versatility, as it was one of his first forays into digital instrumentation, which had by then become the industry standard. It's my hunch that Pablo wasn't too fond of the electric drums and synthesizer, but worked his magic with them anyway and still achieved a rootsy organic sound on tracks like Love Will Bring a Sunshine Day, the anti-apartheid song Hanging Tree, and even the title track One Step More with his dancehall rhythm, and my personal favorite, One Day. Pablo assembled a wonderful team of instrumentalists and vocalists for this one, like Santa Davis on the drums, Jackie Mitu on the keyboards, Elchina Smith on guitar, and Johnny Osborne on backing vocals. This album was released on Island Records imprint, Mango Records, and became a decent commercial success that was a critical smash, with critics praising Delgado's vocal performance and Pablo's production skills. Number 6, Let's Get Started by Tetrack. This little-known harmony trio were one of the most talented in reggae's golden era, and were made up of childhood pals Carlton Hines, Dave Harvey, and Paul Mangaroo. They were introduced to Pablo in 1974 and would together over time record the songs that made up this wonderful album, which I believe is criminally underrated. A beautiful atmospheric experience of stunning militant instrumentation, ethereal sound effects, and superb vocals, all complemented by Augustus Pablo's superb melodica play, masterfully weaving in and out. This album embodies Pablo's essence in that it is laid back, serene, and also heavy, while being meditative and intricate. Qualities that shine through on superb tracks like Judge and Jury, Let's Get Started, and Look Within Yourself. I like those 3 songs the most, but truly, the entire album is fantastic. A masterpiece of reggae's golden era that had roots reggae purists somersaulting in ecstasy. Pablo's arrangements brought out the best in every element, from the vocals to the numerous instruments, which all soar. But the song still has this expansive spacing that doesn't feel cluttered in the least, and makes for very easy listening, and always has me hitting the replay button every time I hear it. Number 5, Morning Glory by Lasley Castle. After being discovered by Pablo while working frequently at the Waterhouse area of Kingston with King Tubby, Lasley Castle's debut album hit record shelves in 1982 and stung Jamaica's music industry in the final days of reggae's golden age. A masterful fusion of Castle's spine-tingling vocals, heavy instrumentals by the likes of Sly and Robbie, and the deep, rich dub elements which Pablo himself had helped to pioneer. These all made tracks like Righteous Stand, Bound in Bondage, and title song Morning Glory all-time classics. Simply a delight from start to finish that was a critically acclaimed smash that made Lasley Castle one of the fastest rising stars in Jamaica. And while Augustus Pablo wasn't credited as a producer, as that credit was given to Robert Flaco Palmer, it was all Pablo pulling the strings behind the scenes to weave together a once-in-a-lifetime album that was Morning Glory. Number 4, Africa Must Be Free by 1983 by Hugh. Many Augustus Pablo fans believe this is his most fascinating production, as it represents a perfect alignment of spiritual potency, youthful energy, and the iconic rocker sound. A whole 3 years after discovering child prodigy Hugh Mundell, Pablo would unleash this critically acclaimed masterpiece that had Mundell's powerful lyrics delivered in that singer's angelic voice over the heavy rocker's rhythm, serenaded by Pablo's Far East melodies. Also powered by an all-star cast of instrumentalists that included Jacob Miller on the drums. The real star of this album is the atmospheric quality of the production that stays with you even after the last song is played. Every song on this album is a standalone masterclass, but if you twisted my arm hard enough, I would name Book of Life, title track Africa Must Be Free by 1983, and Day of Judgment as my favorites. Once again, a masterpiece from the phenomenal mind of Augustus Pablo. Number 3, Who Say Jah No Dread by Jacob Miller. Of all the albums on this list, this one was the least likely to ever see the light of day. It was a compilation of songs recorded between 1974 and 1975. In 1974, Augustus Pablo met Jacob Miller as a hustling youth trying to find some headway at Studio One without success, and took him under his wing. At Randy Chain's outfit, popularly called Studio 17, they recorded the songs that would birth the dawn of the rocker sound, a more militant, darker, and spiritually dread version of reggae music. But before these songs could be put together into an album, Jacob Miller left Pablo's management to join Inner Circle, and all those songs were left floating until 1992 when Greensleeve Records compiled and released them as one album. This album featured a raw edge by both men in the early days of their careers and is phenomenal to say the least. A Rastafarian-driven magnum opus with seminal tracks like Force Rasta, Keep On Knocking, Each One Teach One. Man, it's definitely one of my favorite reggae albums. And if you're a lover of the gritty Rasta-centric energy of the 1970s, this album is definitely for you. And don't get me started on the elite superstar instrumentalist that did justice to all the rhythms on this one, from Aston and Carlton Barrett to Sly and Robbie, Elton Smith, with Augustus Pablo and his haunting melodica, all in their young, hungry, and upcoming phases. Number 2, East of the River Nile by Augustus Pablo. This album isn't just a Pablo landmark, but truly one of the all-time great reggae albums, and the greatest example of his Far East sound. We're talking of a once-in-a-lifetime specimen of artistry. The sound on this album went way beyond the one-drop rhythm section and single keyboard, as Pablo employed an elite arsenal of multi-layered keyboards, from his melodica to the clavinet, piano, string synthesizers, and the kitchen sink, all thrown in to devastating effects. Not as militant as the usual rocker sound, but instead something more meditative, breezy, and spiritual, like nothing else before it or even after it. And even more scary production-wise, it has sound engineering giants like Lee Scratch Perry, King Tubby, Errol Thompson, and Prince Jammy on the consoles. This album is a pure instrumental compilation that is engaging, immersive, and flawless by all standards. My earliest memory of this masterpiece was the track Chant to King Selassie that was powered by yet again elite instrumentalists like the Barrett Brothers. A pleasant and beautiful inspirational vibe of a track that, like the entire album, brought a fresh and otherworldly dimension to reggae music, very far beyond the gritty vocal drum and bass driven sound. A revolutionary body of music that many regard as the pinnacle of Pablo's creativity. And coming in at number 1 is the excellent King Tubby's Meets Rockers Uptown by Augustus Pablo. This joint project by him and King Tubby is not only described as his greatest production, but represents a landmark as the greatest dub album of all time by far. The ultimate example of how the combo of studio effects like massive echo and reverb, heavy delay and psychedelic elements combined with reggae rhythms to become what we know today as the subgenre called dub. The title track is ranked at number 266 on Rolling Stone magazine's 500 greatest songs of all time. The entire project is the perfect alchemy of roots instrumentals and studio wizardry that continues to blow minds 5 decades after. This whole project was the blueprint for how the recording studio itself could be a musical instrument of its own. Unlike the East of River Nile album, which was lighter in tone than most record releases, this one is a perfect storm of the breezy Far East melodies and the militant rockers' rhythms. This was by far Augustus Pablo's magnum opus, and without a doubt, the greatest production by the once-in-a-lifetime genius that was this phenomenal producer and artist. So there you have it. Thank you for watching this video today. Please leave a like, subscribe, and until next time, Jah bless.